Wow, it's been a while. Haven't uploaded a video to YouTube in quite a long time. What I've been up to. So I really have been enjoying the hobby tremendously. A lot of it is because of the recent boom of Optic. Some of you may or may not know. I don't really upload enough videos to have any kind of following or anything, to be honest. So maybe a lot of you are hearing me for the very first time. If so, hey, how you guys doing? But I have been on board with Optic from the very beginning. This is absolutely my favorite set. Why? Gosh, I wish I really knew. It's probably multiple factors. Probably the biggest one, though, to be perfectly honest with you, when I first got into collecting a couple of years ago, I went into my local card shop and I didn't price anything out. All I knew is I wanted to buy a box of cards. And I asked the guy, I go, hey, what can I get for about $100 that I have a chance to pull something nice? And he pointed out two boxes. One was Optic Hobby and one was Optic Retail. And he says, hey, with the hobby, you have a chance to pull an auto. So I said, okay, let's do that. So, at that time, and I'm gonna go ahead and just show cards as we go here, some of the optics that I have. And at that time, I didn't know anything about parallels. I didn't know anything about the different colors, the different shimmers, the rarity, or what was great to pull, what was not. I knew I had a couple of favorite players that I was hoping to get. One being at the time Lonzo Ball. I'm from Los Angeles, so I was super hyped on Lonzo at UCLA in hopes that the Lakers were going to draft. Well, actually, at that point, I knew that they drafted him. So I was a super fan, right? And I wanted to get some Lonzo cards. So I went ahead and did that, and so long story short, the first box that the first brand or make of card that was ever suggested to me was Optic, and I kind of got familiar with it. We all like things that we're familiar with, and so I just started going with it, and I started picking up after that, then another box, then another box, and then I got on eBay and started buying singles and started going from there. But if you would have told me back then, let me get a little bit more detailed. So then I started to look up, hey, is Optic actually any good to collect? And mixed results. It was I remember posting on Blowout Forum a long time ago and asking about Optic, and somebody kind of outlining the different scales of cards to get, meaning high end, medium, and low. And they put Optic in the category of medium to low cards to get at the time, which kind of disappointed me because I just couldn't believe it. It just looked so nice to me, and I couldn't believe it was a low-end stock of card to get. And yeah, so anyway, that's how I got into Optic. I've been collecting ever since, a lot of it because I'm familiar with it. Once you get one box and you get a certain amount of cards, you kind of want to collect maybe that rainbow or that set, and that's why I just kept going. So I was super excited for the 2018-19 Optic with Trae Young and with all the Laker rookies at the time. I'm a huge Laker fan, so with Mo Wagner and Isaac Bonga and players like that, I was just really excited about it. They have all been traded since, but anyway. So then, all of a sudden, this past year, Optic really started to explode. I mean, it started to get crazy. You can kind of see it coming. It all started, in my opinion at least, with the Optic LeBron. So the Optic Hollow LeBron, I should say, in the Lakers jersey. So that card was an easy pickup between $20 and $30 for the hollow ungraded. I mean, nobody was grading them because they weren't worth anything, right? So you can pick them up fairly easily, and I remember texting my brother and saying, hey, pick up all of these you can, because I had kind of heard rumblings. I'm a fan of the hobby and fans of different people in it, and I heard rumblings that, hey, this is going to be a big card, whether it was in a random break or when it was pulled. To go, hey, they would pull it and say, I have a feeling this is going to be a big card. And so I kind of knew to go ahead and buy them, but my problem was I couldn't find a good copy to buy. All the copies were super OC, super off-center, so I couldn't find a decent copy, and so I didn't buy any. I think I bought one. I really missed out there, so I didn't do that. But then I saw it trend up. Then there was I was on eBay and I saw PSA 10, and I'm like, huh, it's $300 for a PSA 10. There's no way. There's no way I'm gonna pay that much for a card that is raw is $35 or $40. It started to creep up a little bit at that point. And so, you know, me being me, which the reason why I haven't been more successful in the hobby as far as from making money and having my cards worth more than I actually paid is because I'm that guy that's always looking for a deal. And I've kind of been trying to get away from that a little bit because I've lost out so much because I just wanted to get a good deal. I always want to pay less than the person before me, and lost out on many, many great cards because of that. So don't do that. If you really like something, even if you have to pay a little bit more, it truly is just worth it to do that. So I refused to pay the $300, and I haggled with the guy, and it was a buy it now, and I offered $250. He offered $265, and I said, no way, I'm not paying that. A month later, it was literally selling for $850 to $1,000. And I was like, you got to be kidding. But right away, that told me, wait a minute. Okay, so the way I always kind of looked at cards, and I remember having this discussion with my brother who collects as well, and we're adults, or we're older, right? But it's kind of like, wow, you know, this set, say it's baseball, say it's a 2016 set, has a card in it that's worth, I don't know, $10,000, $5,000. Then that raises the value of all the other cards in the set, in my opinion, because boxes are more expensive. It makes everything in it more expensive. So I immediately knew at that point when the Lebron Hollow PSA 10 was going for that much that, whoa, this is the start of something. This is going to be crazy, right? So I started to pick up, who did I pick up? I started to pick up some Trae Youngs, some Shai Gilgeous-Alexander cards, some cards like this, a lot of golds that were under, you know, numbered to 10, any kind of gold common, pretty much that was numbered, they cost me $25 or under. I would just buy it. And it was fun for me. It was cheap. I would post them to Reddit and post them at different places, and people would always say, instead of buying all those like cheap cards, why don't you just buy one good one? And I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? That's a really I had never really thought of it that way. But now I know the answer to that. At the time I didn't answer the question because I didn't know the answer to it. But the answer to that question is that I just like buying. I like collecting. I like looking for little things and buying them. I can't really afford to buy something super expensive. And it just hurts to take that big of a loss, right? If I take a loss on a $20 cards, I can live with it because I like the card if I bought it. But if I buy a $1,000 card and it ultimately ends up losing money, it's gonna hurt me. I'm gonna feel like a failure in a way. I know I shouldn't, but that's probably the way I would feel about it. I like to play the small stakes, you know, the penny slots instead of the $5, $10, $25 slots in a way. So Optic appealed to me in that sense too. You know, it was much cheaper than Prism, and I just liked the way it looked. It was familiar to me as a guy who collected cards way back even in the 80s with Donruss baseball, the rated rookies and stuff. It just was very familiar to me, and it felt safe, and I liked it, and I've always been a huge fan of it. Then what started to happen is other cards started to take off, especially the Luka cards. Unbelievably, those are another ones I knew. Well, let me not say it. When everybody went the Luka route, I kind of went the Trae Young route. That's the guy I really liked. I just always thought Luka was not going to be as successful. I thought he was always going to be as good as his rookie season. He was never going to get that much better than that. Absolute stupidity now that I look back on it, but that's what I thought. I thought just his lack of athleticism was really going to hurt him, and yeah, so I didn't really go after him at all. And his stuff was already kind of expensive, you know, in the $100 range for a lot of the good stuff. And I like to buy cards on the low end in hopes that they become something. Obviously, knowing that if you buy a super low end card, chances are it's never going to be worth thousands of dollars or anything because there's too many things better out there than it. But yeah. And anyway, so what am I saying? I'm just blabbing. I'm just talking and talking and talking. So hopefully, just bear with me. My thoughts are kind of all over the place. But I started picking up cards here and there. Now the Luka cards have gone absolutely mad. I think the last PSA 10 Hollow went for something like, gosh, I don't even know. Oops, sorry. I don't even know. Went for let me fix this camera here. Went for something like $2,200, and literally you could have bought a PSA 10 for. Let me fix this camera. You could have bought a PSA 10 for a fraction of that, and it's just amazing, absolutely amazing that it did that. But you knew it in a way. I recently got some cards graded through, by PSA, and so it kind of intrigued me a little to check the pop reports. And when I compared the pop report, population report, with the Optic and the Prism, the Optic was so much lower. Part of me said, well, it's so much lower because people did not grade Optic because they just never thought it was going to be worth anything. And there's super fans of Prism. So anyway, I immediately said, wait, we might have something here. We really might have something here. And I think we do. I think Optic, I'm a big fan of Optic. I mean, you hear a lot of detractors on Blowout and other places say, hey, why you guys still keep on pumping those Optic guys? Basically pumping and dumping, meaning, try to artificially, or I don't know if artificially is the right word, but go ahead and say a card is amazing. Look at this card. This Trae Young is amazing. I think it's going to be worth $5,000 in the next year. And then you immediately get it and put it up on eBay and try to sell it for close to that. That's kind of pumping and dumping, where you're artificially trying to create buzz around a card that's likely never undeserved buzz. Yeah. So anyway, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make this a two-part video, and I'm going to stop here and continue the next video. So anyway, please stay tuned in the next couple of days for part 2 of my thoughts on the 2018 Optic Craze.